In this week's Torah portion, Eikev, in Dvarim, the book of Deuteronomy, the Bnei Israel, the Israelites, stand on a hill overlooking Eretz HaKodesh, a holy land, about to fulfill God's promise to their ancestors of entering and settling the land. And Moses instructs the people to remember the experience of being fed by God, manna from the heavens, throughout their sojourn in the desert. And the text says, "V'zacharta et kol haderech asher holichecha Adonai Elohecha ze arba'im shana b'midbar." Remember the long way that the Lord your God led you these 40 years in the wilderness. And listen to this. V'yanecha v'yarivecha v'yachilcha, that God humbled you by letting you hunger, and then he fed you. And what did he feed you? Et haman asher lo yadata velo yadun avotecha. The manna. God fed you the manna which neither you nor your ancestors had ever known. And why? Leman hodeacha, in order to teach you, ki lo al lechem levado yechia adam, that one does not live by bread alone. And how does one live? Ki al kol motza fi Adonai yechia adam, that by everything that comes from the mouth, motza fi, the mouth of God, is humanity able to exist. So here the text explains that the Israelites' prolonged wandering in the desert served as a learning experience, that whether in the desert or once settled as a sovereign nation, in their very existence is ultimately dependent upon God's grace. One does not live by bread alone, but by everything that comes from the mouth of the Lord. And so in his commentary on the text, Rav Meir Leibish-Weiser, he was better known as the Malbim, and he was the chief rabbi of Bucharest in Romania, and wrote somewhere around the 1850s. And he asked, why did Hashem relocate his people to Israel, the land of Israel, instead of simply giving them the fertile lands of Egypt? And Rav Meir answers that unlike in Egypt, where the Nile River guarantees farmers the irrigation of their fields, rain in the land of Israel is precarious at best. That to live in Eretz HaKodesh, in the Promised Land, is to realize that one needs divine mercy at each and every moment. So Rabbi Shai Held of Machon Hadar, a beautiful, non-traditional, non-denominational Talmudic learning seminary in New York City, he teaches that as Israel prepared, Bnei Israel prepared to enter the land, Moses was concerned with reinforcing this message of divine resilience, the divine reliance. And what does he write? He writes that Moses looked forward and reminds them, the Israelites, that despite appearances, the revolutionary change in circumstances they're about to undergo does not change the deeper, most basic truth of life and covenant, the Brit, that they need and will always need God and cannot live by bread alone. And so just as Bnei Israel looked heavenward for their very survival in the Midbar, in the wilderness, once they enter the land, Israel will once again need to look towards the heavens, Hashamayim, towards God's grace.